Hey kitchen besties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm unboxing the Cuisinart FastFreeze. This is the latest appliance promising to turn a block of frozen something into a creamy, delicious frozen dessert. Now, Ninja capitalized on the market a couple of years ago with the release of the Ninja Creami, but there have been persistent complaints that it's less than perfect to use. Mainly being that it's really loud to operate, it doesn't have the greatest footprint and ends up taking a ton of counter space, and it's not super affordable with a starting price of around $170 and going all the way up to $300 if you purchase the variant with a soft serve dispenser. Cuisinart tackled all of those issues head on with the FastFreeze. It supposedly has a much quieter motor and a smaller footprint with a design reminiscent of an immersion blender. This means that it should be a lot easier to stow away when not in use, making it easy to put in a drawer or a cabinet instead of taking up valuable counter space. And it's far more affordable at only $120. So if the FastFreeze lives up to expectations, I could see the FastFreeze taking on the market by storm. I'm gonna give you a quick view of the box so you can hear that from Cuisinart's mouth instead of my own. But here are the 5 main selling points. Customizable flavors, quick and quiet, compact convenience, 5 easy presets, and dishwasher safe, which is another very important factor for me, especially I run a recipe blog with cleanup ratings for every single recipe, so you know that cleanup is very important to me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how easy this is to clean up. I have a nice photo on the back here with their little tagline, and then the side here shows quick, easy, compact, frosty, flavor-packed favorites made at home. Freeze, blend, and then enjoy. I ordered the FastFreeze on Cuisinart's website directly for $120. It's shipped in a separate box, but there is still a little bit of damage in the corners. It doesn't look like any serious damage that would have transferred to the inside, but something to note. All right, let's get into it. Nice. All right, the instruction and recipe booklet. Product registration, so we'll take a look here. Important safeguards, features and benefits, understanding the presets, before using for the first time, operating instructions, cleaning, storage, and maintenance, then goes into warranty before getting into a handful of recipes. Ooh, frozen matcha latte. And the last Cuisinart instruction booklet I got for the Custom 14 food processor left a lot to be desired about assembly, so I'm gonna give this a skim before I get into it just to make sure I don't have that happen again. Already, I'm more impressed. This is better than the Custom 14 because they have pictures of how to operate with every single step. So Cuisinart, good job. This looks like it has fewer safety mechanisms than a food processor, which also is a good thing. This looks like it's the base. Oh, there's a good weight to it. Wow, actually, like, there's quite a bit of weight to this. So we got the first look at the base here. So it looks like the head of the motor stays in place. It's this little section here that rotates. This one is ice cream, sorbet, mix-ins, slushy, and milkshake. I'm assuming this is the blade assembly. Yep. Okay. I'm assuming. I am really resisting attaching this right now, but they say to mix up your mix, put it in the freezer, and then attach it to this before running. They don't want you, for whatever reason, to put this on first and then onto the dessert cup. I don't know why, but I will follow their instructions. Let me take all 3 out of the paper. Very nice lilac color. Wow. Got a lot of locking mechanisms. Snaps on very nicely. A nice pale sagey green. Same thing with a snap. And I think this one's pink. Gray. It's gray. Okay. Minimal packaging, which is nice. There was not a single piece of plastic to package this product, which A+, Cuisinart A+. If you've been here before, you know that I always save the box just in case something goes wrong. It has come in handy twice now, and I don't plan to change my ways. So I am putting everything back in the box just in case. The goal is always to have it and not need it. So I'm fine with this taking up space in the closet under our stairs for 3 months until I can do a full review to let you know how it is and if I need to send it back. Remove all packaging materials, done. Wash the dessert cups in warm soapy water to remove any dust or residue. Don't immerse the power handle or mixing assembly in water or any other liquid. Wipe them with a moist cloth. So I will go do that. Let's go wash these. It's nice and smooth on the inside, which is nice. This rinse off pretty easily. Then my damp cloth, I'm just gonna use a paper towel. I don't know how this is supposed to be cleaning it, but okay. Fine. All right, that was pretty easy. These should be even easier to clean because I can just throw them in the dishwasher. I am a little curious how I'm supposed to wash this once stuff has been in it. I don't know about that yet. I have 3 bases ready to go, but I do want to make sure that the motor actually works before I put anything in here. I'm going to do a dry run. I don't see anything recommending against it, so we're gonna try it. Okay, this says to attach the cup to the mixing assembly, twisting to lock. Okay, so it locks going clockwise. Unlock. Ooh, that's a nice spring. That feels secure. And then you want the Cuisinart side on the same side as the button here. Oh, there's a lot of spring to this. That's kind of fun. Oh, I love it when brands include these so that I can control the length of my cord during storage. Beautiful. Oh. And it reaches all the way to my center island outlet from here, which that is really long. I don't think I have any appliances that can do that. So that is impressive, another +1 for Cuisinart. Place the assembled unit on a flat surface in the upright position. Ensure the dessert cup is locked into place. Choose your preset, it doesn't matter, but let's pick ice cream. Hold the mixing assembly with one hand and use the other hand to firmly grasp at the top of the power handle. Press and hold the power button while applying downward pressure to the top of the power handle to process treat. These are really long sentences. The green light will turn on until you have reached the bottom of the dessert cup. And then firmly grasp and press the power button to start the motor before applying any downward force. Do you hear how quiet this is? This has no business being this quiet. Do you hear how quiet that is? I hate it when motors are louder than they have to be. I understand that sometimes it's a lot more expensive to have a faster, quieter motor, but it's absolutely worth it if you can actually carry on a conversation while you're prepping food. I would love to have my husband down here and make ice cream really quickly. We talk about what we're gonna mix into this, and everybody is happier for it. Good job, Cuisinart. And then to get this off of here, I unplug the unit. I'm not going to. Press and hold the release button and lift the power handle off the mixing assembly. Twist to unlock and remove dessert cup from mixing assembly. Okay, so you're supposed to rinse this in water after pressing the blade shaft from the other side of the blending to expose it completely. Oh, okay. So that will make it easier to rinse off, and if you use warm water, okay, that makes it a lot easier to clean. Still not gonna be great, but better than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, I am really excited now. I did not trust Cuisinart when they said it was gonna be quiet, but that is making me really excited to freeze these bases and make them up tomorrow. So let me go get my bases. All right, here are my bases. I have half batches of my pomegranate sorbet and my French vanilla custard-based ice cream. Both of these recipes are available on my website if you also want to try them. And because I'm really curious to see how it's gonna do with a non-traditional ice cream or sorbet base, I have Fairlife's chocolate ultra-filtered milk, which has a lower fat percentage and a higher protein percentage than normal milk. This would not be great for normal ice cream because the protein content is really high and the fat content is really low, and you need a very delicate balance to make ice cream creamy and delicious and wonderful like it should be. But the micro puree process is supposed to make non-traditional frozen desserts into creamy deliciousness. So I figured this would be a pretty good test for that. So let's crack it open. Fill line here. I don't know if I want to go all the way up to the max. I'm gonna go a little under just to be safe. And this is my vanilla custard. Gonna give it a quick stir just to make sure that the vanilla bean paste is not all settled to the bottom. And I used Hey La La vanilla bean paste this time to go through my vanilla bean paste collection. Again, just a little under the max. And then my pomegranate sorbet. Right about the max. They pick up really nicely even by the lid. I wouldn't recommend doing it for like a heavy mix, but for a little bit they hold. All right, let me go throw these in the freezer and then I will be back tomorrow to try out the fast freeze with you. So excited. I am so excited to try this. It is a little cloudy today, but it's going to be cloudy tomorrow too, and I was not gonna wait an extra 2 days to try out the fast freeze, which I'm sure you can understand. So if it gets a little dark, please bear with me. I think I'm gonna start with the traditional vanilla custard, and I'm gonna pop these back in the freezer because I don't want them to get too soft. I looked at the manual and really you just add the top and rotate it until you hear that big click. So that's the click you want. And now it's locked into place. And then you're gonna add the blender assembly on top, and now it's getting dark. So I think I might hold on. How big is this cloud? It's a small cloud. Okay, so now that I've got it locked into place, press this down, and it actually goes down to the point where this button is about flush. And you can push it down a little bit, but it'll pop back up to the top. So now we are all locked into place and it is time to fast freeze. That's not terribly loud. Okay, the red light just means that it hit the bottom of the base, and to move it up, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's done churning. So I'm gonna check the consistency to see where we're at. Ooh. Wow. Okay, this was better than I was expecting. Wow. I'm curious, I don't see a ton of vanilla beans, so I think it might have settled all in the bottom. Yeah, you can see all of the vanilla beans here in the bottom of the base. So I'm gonna do one more blend right through the bottom and then back up to see if I can get them. It's not a huge deal, but I used my Hey La La vanilla bean paste for a reason, okay? Okay, we are engaged. Ooh. All of those vanilla bean seeds are still at the bottom, so I'm gonna have to do a deep scoop here. Still, let's try it. The consistency is a little grainier than regular ice cream, but for not having churned it, I'm actually impressed. You can feel a little bit of the ice crystal, but I am actually really impressed with that. I have heard that it's gritty/grainy compared to normal traditionally churned ice cream, but I was expecting a lot worse. This is doable. I'm gonna put this back in the freezer so that my husband and I can split this for a future time. I'm gonna rinse this off, and then I'm gonna try the Fairlife chocolate milk. I probably could just put this one directly into the Fairlife chocolate milk, but I will give it a quick rinse just to prevent cross-contamination. Okay. Wow, wow. Okay, I'm gonna let that drain while I get the next one. The real test is gonna be this one because it's not made with a ton of fat, and fat is what helps ice cream be nice and creamy. So I'm curious to see how this one is gonna perform. Pop off top. Oh, okay, this one you can see kind of came up and it's preventing this top part from locking on. So I'm gonna try to chisel that away. I was wondering how it handles things like this. Honestly, maybe I have a future as a Cuisinart FastFreeze. Okay, that did a good chunk. Hopefully that's enough. Okay, we are locked in. Okay, locked in again. And, this one is a little bit louder, quite a bit louder. Still not bad. I'm having to push down on this pretty hard. Ooh. Okay, so it said sometimes if it will, okay, so it's blinking red. If that happens, oh, I'm supposed to leave frozen bases at room temperature for up to 10 minutes first. That's probably more important for harder frozen things like this. For the traditional custard ice cream, I don't think that would have been as big of a deal. This was a hard mix. I'm not upset at you, FastFreeze, that's okay. In case of overload or extreme strain, the motor will stop running. If this happens, release the power button and pull the power handle to its original position. Wait 10 seconds and then try again. Okay. I'm gonna take it out and see how far down it got. Also, I don't want to stress him on his first try, so I'm gonna give him a little break. Oh. Well, this was sad. That makes sense why it wasn't blending super well. Dang, I was hoping. So the high protein ones are gonna require a little bit of doctoring. You're not able to use just like high protein milk. Otherwise you get this. I wonder if I added a smidge of room temperature. I just don't wanna overload it. So maybe if I take a really big spoonful out and then just add a tiny spoonful back in. Oh, cold. Oh, really cold. I'm just gonna add a tiny little. Okay, we are locked in. That's about where I could start feeling resistance. So I only went that deep. Okay, that looks promising. Ooh, okay, it's still a little icy, but this is better than what it was. Oh, and then you can see it mixed in stuff in the middle and then the outside is still, ooh, so I still have, oh, I'm making a mess now. That's better. That's pretty decent. I'm gonna do a second round with a little bit more milk just to see. Feels a little warm right around this green light, but it's not hot at all. So that is pretty good. All right, this looks promising. Ooh. Okay. I think that one would melt a lot more quickly than traditional ice cream, so you really wouldn't be able to take your time eating it. But if you were craving a sweet treat and you didn't want to overindulge, I think this would hit the spot. So for high protein stuff, you kind of just have to treat it like a milkshake and water it down with more of your mix instead of trying to make the whole thing frozen. I'm gonna pop this one back in the freezer so that my husband and I can enjoy it at a later time. I'm gonna rinse this off, and then it's time for the pomegranate sorbet. And I'm gonna let this sit for a couple minutes while I rinse this off. Got a little bit of water on the inside, so I'm gonna give this a little dry. I did notice while wiping this down that there is a little bit of grease that's starting to come out of this top spring portion. That was on it. This part doesn't come in contact with the food, but something I thought I would note. All right, so I have my pomegranate sorbet base here. Looks like the top has softened a little bit, so hopefully this goes right through like butter. We are locked in. And before I start, I am going to move it to sorbet. I don't know how much of a difference that makes overall, but I did want to make sure I had that switched just in case it does make a big difference. Okay, let's try it. Oh, that felt really nice. Ooh, okay, looks kind of like a granita, not full-on sorbet level. This is a little icy. The flavor is still good, but it is a little icy. I have some more of the sorbet mix in the fridge. So good. So I think I'm gonna do the same trick that I did with the Fairlife and add just a touch to kind of help it meld better. Just a smidge. It doesn't take much to get it all mixed. And again, the noise is really great. This already looks a lot better. Yeah. Okay, so maybe that let it sit for 10 minutes before really does make a big difference on texture. I am gonna have to test that over the next couple of months to see. You still do have some larger chunks of ice stuck to the edges, but the center portion is actually pretty nice looking. It is still a little icy. I don't think it totally compares to a traditional ice cream maker in that sense, but for the ease of use and pre-portioning, if I wanted to only have so much sorbet available at a certain time, this would be really helpful. It's just so refreshing and good. I love pomegranate. Okay, ooh. Let me put this guy back in the freezer and then I will give you my final thoughts. And I love the cord storage. Beautiful. My initial impression from this is that Cuisinart saw all of the issues with the Ninja Creami and said, we can fix that. I love the space-saving capability. I can just pick this up and throw it anywhere I want in my kitchen, a drawer, a cabinet, the pantry, on top of the fridge. It doesn't have to take up valuable counter space, which beautiful, beautiful work, Cuisinart. I don't think it's gonna be replacing my traditional ice cream maker anytime soon, but for healthier frozen desserts that are higher in protein and lower in fats and sugar, I think this will be a really nice addition to my kitchen. And it helps that, again, it takes up like no space at all. I also am a really big fan of the half-pint dessert cups. This feels like the ideal size to split with my husband after dinner. Anything larger I think would have felt too big, but this seems like it's gonna be the perfect size. I am absolutely gonna put that to the test because I'm gonna try to get a full review for the Cuisinart FastFreeze out for you before the holidays. And that's gonna have pros, cons, and everything you need to know about the Cuisinart FastFreeze before purchasing, so please consider subscribing so you don't miss when that comes out. But if this video has already convinced you that you need the Cuisinart FastFreeze in your life, I have an affiliate link in the description. It supports my channel if you purchase it through there, but no pressure. You can also just support me by giving this video a thumbs up if you appreciated it, and consider subscribing so that you see that review when it comes out. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Alyssa. I am the recipe developer, food photographer, and blogger behind the Floral Apron, where I share new recipes with cleanup ratings almost every week. You can find them, like my French vanilla ice cream and my pomegranate sorbet recipes, on my website at floralapron.com, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! Okay, now to see if my husband thinks this is as great as I think it is.